Hello there, I'm Pat Simpson. Now that you've purchased your new home, let's talk about the equipment that you're going to need to maintain your yard around your home. Let's talk first about power equipment. Now you're going to need a lawnmower. The lawnmowers are the king of the yard when it comes to maintaining your lawn and keeping it looking pristine the way that it should. You want to buy a good quality lawnmower and take care of it, and it's going to last you for years. This particular one has a Briggs Stratton engine on it. It just happens to be a mulching mower, which means when you mow the lawn, the grass is sucked up underneath the deck and it cuts it a second time and mulches it back down into the lawn and acts as a natural fertilizer. So this is a very good choice of lawnmowers. Now when you're done mowing the lawn, what about those areas on the lawn that the mower would not reach because of the deck bumping up into that area? You're going to need a string trimmer. That's what this is. A string trimmer is great for trimming around the edges of driveways or sidewalks or even fence posts, any areas that the lawnmower would not reach. This particular string trimmer has a 4-cycle engine on it. You can also get them with 2-cycle engines. Now what the difference is, a 4-cycle runs on gasoline only, just like your lawnmower does, but you put oil in the crankcase. A 2-cycle engine, you must mix the oil with the gas. And generally speaking, the 4 cycles have more power than do the 2-cycle engines. Now another piece of power equipment that is great to have around the house is this. This is a pressure washer and uses water through your garden hose, through this pump, and creates pressure. 2650 psi, pounds per square inch. That's how much water is jetted through the wand to do the cleaning. They'll come with different types of tips. For example, the fan nozzle is great for cleaning the deck as you fan back and forth to clean that wood. Once again, be sure and use these properly. Read and follow the manufacturer's instructions. Most importantly, wear the goggles to protect your eyes when using the pressure washer. Now this is a generator. What a great piece of equipment to have. If you've ever been without power for more than an hour or two, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is your emergency power source. Now this is a 6,300 watt generator. This number signifies how much electricity it's going to produce. So the higher this number, the more electricity you'll get from this. You'll never be without power if you have a generator around your home somewhere. If this is full of fuel, you're going to get hours of run time from it if your power is out. Just be sure to check the oil frequently if your generator is running regularly. Now let's talk about the yard equipment that is powered only by your muscle. Now first let's cover spreaders. This particular one here is called a broadcast spreader or a rotary spreader. You put your fertilizer or your seed, whatever you're distributing onto your lawn, into the hopper, and then the wheel on the bottom, the rotary, then broadcasts the seed or fertilizer out onto the lawn. It covers a large area in a small amount of time. This particular one is called a drop spreader, just as the name implies. You put your materials into the hopper and it drops onto the lawn directly underneath the spreader as you roll along. This one will cover more area in a smaller amount of time, less amount of time. This one is probably better to use on extremely windy days because it drops directly into the soil. Now, as far as pruning your bushes, your shrubs, your trees, you need some pruners. Now, these particular ones are called loppers. They'll cut branches and limbs 1.5 inches to 2 inches in diameter, long handles for great leverage, and cut those right off. A tree saw is also great to have for the limbs that the loppers won't cut. You see the coarseness of these teeth, and this particular one will cut in both directions as you pull or push, and will cut the larger limbs off without any problem whatsoever. Now let's talk about long-handled gardening tools or lawn tools that you would need. At least 2 types of shovels, round point and square point. This is a round point. It's great for all types of digging, especially in harder soils because of the point. If you're planting trees, shrubs, bushes, this is a great option, the round point shovel. A square point shovel is also a must-have because it can be used for edging, nice straight square edges along flower bed edges, but it's also great for shoveling on flat surfaces and loose soil that is already on top of the surface. So have at least 2 shovels, a round point and a square point. Rakes, minimum, again, 2 types. This is a leaf rake. This particular one is metal. They come in metal, wood, and plastic for raking the leaves along the top of the grass or hard surfaces as far as that goes. And a garden rake, or technically it's known as a bow rake. It's made of steel, and it's great for cleaning stones, rocks, roots, debris out of loose soil, and can also be used for cultivating. So minimum 2 rakes and 2 shovels. In addition to the long-handled garden tools, you'll also need some hand tools to help maintain your yard as well as those flower beds. We have some of them laid out here. A hand trowel is very handy for using in the flower beds. You'll need a weeder, the name is obvious, to help pull those pesky weeds in the beds. A couple of different hand trowels laid out here. And you'll need a hand cultivator, which is basically a miniature rake to help cultivate that soil. Now underneath here, we have a couple of different types of sprinklers. We have an oscillating sprinkler, which wands the water back and forth. Then we have a pulsating or pulse-driven sprinkler, which pounds against the water as the water pressure comes through the hose. Speaking of hoses, you're going to need a quality garden hose as well. 50 feet is a normal length, a 50-foot hose, but be sure and get a good quality hose, at least a 6-ply garden hose, and that way it won't kink up as easily as the less expensive hoses. When you're done with the hose, always drain the water out of it, coil it back up. It'll make that garden hose last a lot longer. Now here is an essential tool powered only by you, a wheelbarrow. It's used for a number of things, obviously, for hauling dirt, debris, limbs, soil, stone, and this will probably save you a trip to the chiropractor because it's so much easier to haul it with a wheelbarrow as opposed to not having one. And don't forget the essentials that are so simple but often forgot: gloves, glasses, and knee pads. Get a couple of different types of work gloves, the heavier duty and light duty for gardening and handling the tools as well. Safety glasses are so very important. Get a good set and protect one of your most precious gifts, your eyes. And knee pads to protect your knees, especially if you're kneeling around the flower bed and working on your knees. That will help soften the blow, so to speak. So enjoy all of your new tools, enjoy your new home, and have fun working in your yard.